like a funeral dirge, but they had a sousaphone. They actually had a sousaphone.
Did they have
tuba
Whisper from James Bond anywhere? Did they have that? Okay, should we go? Are we ready to go? Okay, cool. Hey, thanks again. Hey, look at this. We're back in the lake. Look at us. Welcome to Design Smoke. My name is Jeff Johnson, and with me tonight, very lovely, is Sarah Nelson. Back again. Hi. Sarah is out here on Lake of the Owls in a beautiful sunset, and we're smoking and drinking like you should be. Sarah's been a friend of mine, whether she's wanted to or not, for about 20 years, and has been a big hero of mine, going way, way back to 1990, probably, or maybe even slightly earlier. Sarah, what do you do for a living?
Well, Jeff, I'm a graphic designer. I work for a company called Werner Design Works. We're located in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. And where's St. Paul?
St. Paul is a twin city to Minneapolis.
Deep in the heart of the
This is actually perfect.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, Sarah, the type of work that you do is stuff that I dig a lot, and it's all around my home. It's all around everything that seems to permeate my home, mostly the Mrs. Meyers stuff. If there's a reason why you like design, would you be able to tell me what that reason is?
Well, Jeff,
in 20 words or less.
what I like about design is problem solving. So there you go. That's 20 words or less.
Yeah.
Problem solving, making things look good.
Okay, more specifically, let's take one project in particular. So, the Mrs. Meyers soap stuff, which
Yep.
I'm a big fan of, and I wash my dirty, filthy hands with the Mrs. Meyers nearly every day.
And what's your favorite fragrance?
You know what? There's a lavender one
Yes,
that I
relaxing
am quite
lavender.
a fan of.
Mhm.
But I that's probably mostly because Molly is a big fan of lavender. So Molly's got all that stuff around the house. So she does the Mrs. Meyers shopping. I do the Mrs. Meyers using. The type of work that I think I would describe that work as referential work, in that there is some reference to 1960s, 1950s, 1970s design work from which you mine a lot of material. In the nature of the research that you do, what kind of research work do you do for your design work?
Well, unlike John, we do a lot of looking backwards to try to create something new that goes forwards. We do not only look forwards because we're excited by things from the past.
John, let go of the goddamn vote, for God's sakes. Let her be free. Let her be free.
And
Yeah. This is not Dunkirk. This is not Dunkirk. We don't need to lash the votes together.
we look through a lot of old magazines, old books. We have a lot of reference material, and Mrs. Meyers in particular, went through a lot of different materials, and one of the things that we were drawn to was from the 30s. Actually, it was these little. They were more like string drawings than they were stick drawings, and they were just little ladies doing all sorts of housework, and that was kind of the inspiration for the stick lady version of Mrs. Meyers. And then besides that, we were inspired by Dr. Bonner's.
Can you talk at length about Dr. Bonner's crazy soap? Because I am a big fan of Dr. Bonner's.
No, actually, I can't. I just
John,
know
do
that
you know
I like
about Dr. Bonner's?
I like the copy-heavy label.
I got a treat for you, buddy. I'm going to get you a little present. Can you explain Dr. Bonner's? Because I love the fact that you actually reference that as a piece, because that's been my camp soap for a long time.
I really don't know that much about it. It's just crazy hippie soap, and it's covered with text. So it's not a classic label, and that was our whole point with the Mrs. Meyers label, is that it should look like, well, for one, it should look good whichever way it gets faced. If the label gets turned around, it still looks like a front label, even if you're looking at the back. The only reason you can tell it's the back is because there's a UPC code on it.
That's really cool. I've actually never heard anybody say that before.
Other than
you
that,
shouldn't see the front or the back. It should just be cool.
We just figured, it's a grocery store. And that was the whole thing, is it's supposed to be for a lower-end retailer. It's supposed to be in hardware stores or not the high-end retailers. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's not a high-end product. The Caldrea,
Why have I've always bought it at high-end places,
I know.
though.
Well, it's not like it's at Target now. They originally came out with Caldrea. Caldrea is sold in places like Macy's or Dayton's or Marshall Field's or whatever it is now, and gift shops and things like that. And Monica Nassif, who was the developer of the company, came to us and said, okay, I want to rip myself off before someone else does. I want to come out with a lower end product.
She really said that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
I want to rip myself off before anyone else does. So,
Man, if more clients said that.
so
that
how would
be-
you do it if you're going to create a lower end product other than Caldrea? Because Caldrea is very upscale. It's kind of fancy, kind of frilly. It has more
Yeah.
sophisticated fragrances. The idea behind Mrs. Meyers is
You
that
wouldn't get the hunting fishing community really
No.
gravitating to the
But
Caldrea
the
brand.
idea behind Mrs. Myers is that every fragrance is something that Thelma Meyer could grow in her garden in Iowa.
Did you make her up?
No, she's Monica's mom.
No shit.
Yeah. She's,
Really?
Well, because Sharon helped name the product, Sharon Werner, because she said she was in a meeting with them and they were trying to come up with a name, and Sharon said, well, you come from a family of 9 kids, right? I mean, your mom's got what does your mom have a good name? She's got to know something about cleaning. So her name is Meyer, Mrs. Myers, Thelma Meyer. So
She must have like the ultimate street cred around the Denny's dinner table when she goes for coffee with the rest of the blue hairs.
She
because-
said that, well, because we're working on a book for them right now, and there's a story in there that she met someone in the airport who, I don't think she recognized her, because although we know her picture really well, it doesn't get on stuff that's on retail very often. But when she said who she was, the woman was so excited because